In Lioness Season 2, Episode 6, the following is given careful thought. What if Joe has really lived his life to the fullest? What if she feels she has nothing left to offer because of a life-threatening circumstance? Additionally, 2381 begins with a hint about Joe's mental state. Joe is worn out and shell-shocked after the failed attempt to rescue a young girl who is being trafficked at the US-Mexican border. She seemed to have lost her soul's vigor. She broke several rules to save a young girl she was tracking, and many others perished as a result. She had to come up with a press cover story right away, and Bobby manages to do so. Hey everyone, hope you are having a good day. Before going to the main topic, I want to say like this video and subscribe to the channel. Details of what happened cannot be revealed as it will risk the lives of undercover agents, is the meaningless statement they must make. Joe had no idea that she was carrying a potentially fatal injury at this point. Adrenaline is a powerful drug. It seems sense that Josie is having a hard time accepting the notion that she is going to ruin her father and permanently alter the future of her family. In order to inform Josie that her father has changed, Cruz, the more seasoned counterpart, advises her to cling to her best memories of him. Josie has the strength to tell her father, Pablo Carrillo, why she was fired and how the CIA intends to use her to gain access to his brother, cartel leader Alvaro Carrillo. She brings up the fact that the CIA is aware that his wealth is not coincidental and is probably provided by the Mexican cartel. Pablo must have been taken aback because he thought Josie would inform him that Cruz was her girlfriend. His disbelief gives way to rage as he launches into a tirade about the CIA's role in the rise of heroin in America and their disregard for both the Congresswoman and narcotics. Pablo is shown the truth of his situation as Cruz arrives on the scene and knocks him to the ground. Declaring that she is aware that he launders money for the cartel, she offers him two choices. Cruz offers Pablo and his family witness protection and makes it apparent that they have no regard for his brother, the cartel head. But when the QRF crew discovers that one of the maids is wired, the mission is completely flipped upside down. Since Joe was unaware that her secure work phone had been damaged during the previous expedition, they call her on her personal phone and inform her that the cover has been exposed and that they must rework the arrangement. DEA Officer Gutierrez is the maid's point of contact. Joe requests that Pablo and the maid be moved to a safe location by Cruz and the QRF team. Joe discovers she has been shot and is seriously injured while flying back to the CIA, who are now upset with her for participating in an illegal assignment. When she lands, she calls Caitlin and requests a surgical response team because the wound is dark and has no way out. In a last-ditch effort, the co-pilot offers temporary comfort through medical treatment. Joe contacts her husband Neil out of fear for her life, telling him that the daughters will need him before she passes out, leaving Neil in complete chaos. Then we find out why Edwin Mullins is the Secretary of State of the United States. He is a composed individual. He asks whether the operation can be carried out and brings the conversation back to the mission. Caitlin summarizes what Edwin and the audience saw. The mission is jeopardized, but the Lioness is embedded. Because the DEA agent had an informant who worked in the Carrillo estate, security staff were already aware of their presence. The informant purposefully concealed information. Carrillo and the informant have been taken out by QRF Team 1, and the DEA agent is being held by QRF Team 2. She also regrettably states that Joe's condition has no prognosis. Edwin Mullins is aware that a successful expedition will help their anti-Chinese activities, but if the public's opinion differs, it is worthless. But Byron claims that because of their situation, they are unable to slow down. He proposes sending Pablo Carrillo and Josie to Mexico so they can meet the cartel head. Edwin exits the room, most likely to safeguard his position by allowing inappropriate choices to be made without his knowledge. Government representatives inform Caitlin and Byron that although they are unable to approve the mission's next phase, it should nonetheless proceed. This is an implied green light without formal authorization. To get information from Gutierrez, Kyle and the QRF crew subject him to torture. They utilize the technicality that he helped the state's adversary carry out the torture and questioning. As Caitlin walks in, she makes a list of his entire family, including his kids. She begs him to give up all the information he knows and to spare his family's fate. Caitlin is reminded by Gutierrez that half of his crew, including the best man from his wedding, has passed away. He explains that his oldest son was nannied by the maid at the Carrillo estate, and he didn't wire her until the CIA intervened. Since Pablo doesn't handle any business at his house, no calls, emails, or anything else, he says he has no information from her. He then brings up the difficulty of proving Pablo laundered money for the cartel, which resulted in the purchase of his home, as there is no proof of how he obtained it. A man named Peter Ramon built it and bequeathed it to him in his will. While listening carefully, Caitlin instructs the QRF team to polygraph him. Caitlin informs the crew that Joe is en route to Walter Reed Hospital at this point, indicating that her condition is serious. She threatens to throw Gutierrez in the river if he doesn't pass the polygraph. Joe is her best buddy, she reminded Gutierrez. Pablo's wife, meantime, is with the other QRF team and is curious about her husband's whereabouts. At the end of Lioness Season 2, Episode 6, Josie is crying and her father is giving her a furious glare. The episodes 2381 of Lioness Season 2, Episode 6, is the pivotal moment in the Paramount Plus series. It's the one that puts everything on the table, including the possibility of a second cast change. But it's also the episode that most emphasizes the problem with pacing that Season 2 has had from the beginning. 2381-inch is nearly entirely devoted on cleaning up the damage after the cliffhanger that ended Lioness Season 2, Episode 5. Shatter the Moon. People weigh their losses, argue about who is to blame, and make decisions about what to do next. This episode primarily feels like clearing the decks so that the series can accomplish anything with the next 2 episodes of the season, while there is a significant revelation concerning DEA agent Gutierrez that keeps the anxiety level high. The highlight of Lioness has turned out to be Cruz Manuelos's comeback. Cruz has been at the heart of some of the most memorable sequences since her entrance in Season 2, Episode 4, 500 Children, and she has contributed to the advancement of the plot arc in novel and captivating ways. She has opposed Joe and played a crucial role in supporting Josie Carrillo, her replacement. Cruz learns why Josie is at Pablo Carrillo's house in Episode 6 and steps in to stop him from assaulting her. In addition to being a memorable moment for her, her charging in and holding Pablo at gunpoint is the highlight of a scene where the entire squad takes control. Pablo's security staff is killed in this extremely violent turn of events, and it is discovered that his maid Atsi is wearing a wire. When Two Cups puts pressure on Atsi, she confesses that she works with Gutierrez. Everyone now has something else to do thanks to this somewhat predictable story twist. However, it stops the Carrillo plot in its tracks. Pablo and Josie are shown simply staring at each other across a room as Episode 6 comes to a close. Cruz assumes leadership in this section of the narrative, whether it is by physical force or by offering Josie crucial counsel. Viewers are left wondering why Season 2 didn't simply find a reason to retain Cruz as its lioness. Even though the character may not have desired to return to the program, she is undoubtedly demonstrating her worth once more. The same is true for actor Laislada Oliveira, who has returned to the spotlight as if she had never gone. Lioness Season 2, Episode SAXS, major narrative twist is that Joe was shot during the rescue attempt, leaving viewers to wonder if she would survive or not. The fact that she needed resuscitation on the way to the hospital is the only indication of her condition. Fans will naturally question whether Joe is being killed off because Taylor Sheridan wants to reorganize the cast or because Zoe Saldana is quitting Lioness. There's reason to be concerned. Sheridan has no qualms about eliminating characters, often in a matter of seconds. In less time than it takes to prepare a sandwich, Triad eliminated the primary antagonist of Tulsa King Season 2, Episode 9. Additionally, Lioness's premise allows it to be continued with various cast members. Although the show can continue without Saldana, the truth is that it shouldn't. The MCU and Star Trek alumnus is the series' best actor, despite Joe's harsh personality. Despite having a cast that includes Nicole Kidman and Morgan Freeman, Saldana is given the majority of the screen time in Lioness, and she gives the role her all. Cruz is the only character that could be as enthusiastic as Joe as a potential new team leader because Laislada Oliveira has a fiery on-screen persona of her own, but Cruz lacks the qualifications for that role. Kyle Sanford is the only character who does, although it would be counterintuitive for a guy to take over on the Lioness television series. Her getting shot feels like it happens out of the blue solely for shock value, but Joe's surgery does elevate the audience's heart rate a little. It doesn't seem like a smart idea for the authors to kill off the character in light of both of those factors. The significance of Saldana in the series is too great for Joe's final scene to be a medevac aircraft taking off. Additionally, Lioness loses its commander and the entire family plotline without Joe, turning it into just another military drama. Caitlin Meade and Byron Westfield spend a considerable portion of Lioness Season 2, Episode 6 attempting to save their business, which seems to be a rerun of the season's sluggish beginning. The conclusion that the CIA will unofficially conduct a black op requires a great deal of debate, and these are the discussions that most other espionage shows have at the halfway point. Gutierrez's decision to conceal the fact that he had an informant is a brilliant one, as it enables Nicole Kidman to leave the Situation Room when Caitlin confronts him directly. However, this only serves to expose that Pablo Carrillo never conducts business in the house he inherited from someone else. Lioness doesn't have that much time to sort through and figure out the additional facts. There are only 8 episodes in Season 2, so viewers won't know whether Pablo helps the CIA until at least the start of Episode 7. This implies that this operation, its success or failure, and any repercussions will be covered in slightly under 2 episodes. Lioness hasn't really figured out anything about Pablo, his drug-dealing brother, or the cartel's ties to China, but that would be okay if the only concern was whether the good guys prevailed. Both the viewer and the characters still have a lot of undiscovered information. Lioness would have had more time to discuss the mission's numerous shortcomings if it hadn't spent so much time on Josie's hiring and training. The early slow pacing is currently preventing the season's finale from living up to its full potential, even though the performers are still enjoyable. Michael Kelly and Thad Luckenbill in particular are age game. Although there is a lot of action in Lioness Season 2, Episode 6, 2381, to keep the action going, the scene where Kyle waterboards Gutierrez is funny in a good way, viewers must consider how much more Season 2 could have accomplished if this had all occurred much earlier in the season. Let us know in your comments. And stay tuned by subscribing our channel to get more updates like this. Thanks everyone.